first author is a good friend of mine, and so I'm going to introduce him, because that's my privilege for being his friend. First thing, Neal is a good guy. Talk to Neal for 5 minutes, and you know that forever. You talk to Neal for 5 minutes, you will know that he is a good guy. Second thing, Neal is an excellent storyteller. If I ever have children, I will require Neal to read them bedtime stories. Third thing, Neal has an overhead projector. We here at Seersucker Live really appreciate that. So I'm going to welcome to the stage right now my good friend and soon to be yours, Neal Saye, 2010 Georgia Southern University Professor of the Year.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Overhead High, a short story. Third period before lunch, American History 1. I had one of the new teachers, Mrs. Berry, maybe 30 and with shoulder-length hair, vomit brown, and black librarian glasses, which were always sitting crooked on her nose and which she constantly but unsuccessfully attempted to straighten. When the tardy bell rang on the first day of the new school year, Miss Berry walked to the front of the room and with a flourish turned on the overhead projector. This semester, the overhead message began, we will be studying American history, like we haven't been studying American history all through school. In a chipper voice, Miss Berry announced, we have over 200 years of exciting history to cover and only 2 short semesters to do it. All the important facts from the textbook are summarized on 357 transparencies. You will copy the notes from the overhead each day. We'll have daily reading recalls, weekly quizzes, bi-weekly vocabulary checks, chapter test, unit test, and of course the semester exam. You'll be prepared for the graduation test, the SAT, the ACT, the BET, the SHIT, and any other test you might ever encounter. Now take out your notebooks and let's get started on our learning journey with transparency number 1. Transparency number 1. An overview of U.S. history, 22 signposts. Now copy these down, Miss Berry instructed. 1, setting the stage. 2, the emergence of England. 3, the road to independence. 4, a new nation. And it went on like that for weeks, months, the routine never varying. First, the tardy bell would ring. Second, Miss Berry would turn on the overhead and start to read as she adjusted her glasses. But I sometimes thought I saw a twinkle in her eyes. I didn't get it. Third, we would begin taking notes, or pretend to. And fourth, my mind would embark on a learning journey of its own. I couldn't help it. The overhead came on, and my mind took off. Going, gone. Now, I'm an okay student, I guess. I'm a junior. I have never failed a class. I usually make B's, maybe a few A's, mainly to keep my parents off my back. And most of my friends are like me, biding our time till we can get away to college and party and then, I don't know, make a lot of money. But we know we've got to get through high school first. Transparency number 17. The Spanish Voyages of Discovery. Today, class, the very merry Miss Berry began, we will be sailing with 3 Spanish explorers, Columbus, Vespucci, and Magellan. Please copy down the dates of their voyages. Notice Columbus had 4. And then using different colors, mark and then memorize the various voyage routes on the worksheet. You'll be tested over this on Friday. Blah, 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 blah. Going, gone. Last week, I was ordering a 6-inch turkey on white at Subway. I was down at the vegetable end of the counter, and the Subway artist asked what else I wanted on my sub. I recited my usual: lettuce, tomato, onion, a lot of jalapenos, a shake of oregano, a little salt and pepper, oil and vinegar. The guy must have misunderstood, because he put it all together and then placed just one tiny jalapeno right on top in the middle. I said I wanted a lot of jalapenos. Oh, I thought you said a little jalapeno. And he grabbed a handful, at least 50, and crammed them down on my sub. A smartass. Anything else, he asked? Yeah. Could I have a few more jalapenos? Transparency number 73. Economy, cotton versus cloth. Blah, 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 blah. Going, going, gone. I just wonder how long it would take my ass to get really hot by sitting naked on the overhead projector. 1 second, 10, a minute. I wonder what Miss Berry would say if she walked into the classroom one morning and I was sitting on the overhead with my pants down at my ankles. Kim's wearing a purple bra today. I can see it through her t-shirt. Transparency number 98. The split of the Union. Blah, 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 blah. Going, going, gone. I may have my penis pierced one of these days. I wonder if they deaden it first. But then, what if it would never work again? Well, maybe I won't. Halfway through class one day, the light bulb burned out in the overhead projector. History stopped. I thought Miss Berry was going to cry, but then Suck-Up Jerry volunteered to run to the office and get a new bulb. Damn him. I don't like all this school violence everywhere, but I wouldn't have minded shooting Jerry right then. Miss Berry turned off the switch on the machine to remove the burned-out bulb, but without the little whirring noise made by the overhead motor, the class just didn't seem real. It was weird, like a fake class. I could hear Terry patting her foot behind me and Mindy breathing. I looked across the aisle to my friend Randy, but he was still crouched over his notebook with his pencil in the note-taking position, even moving it around a little, his facial expression still zoned out, dazed, otherworldly. He didn't even realize the damn overhead was off. This was definitely the most exciting day so far in American History 1. At lunch, the plan began. Really just a joke at first. I don't know what made me suggest it. Why don't we just start failing all of Barry's quizzes and tests on purpose? I blurted out to the 7 or 8 kids at my table. Because, stupid, we would flunk the class, Mindy replied. So what? I asked, still not really serious. Randy answered this time, Billy, you're an idiot. If we flunk the test, we flunk the course, we don't graduate, we work at McDonald's. We all laughed. But for me at that moment, the light bulb was coming on. No, you're wrong. She won't flunk all of us if we all fail, if we do it together. Think of how bad she would look as a new teacher if her entire class failed. And I mean miserably failed. Failed so bad she knows we're doing it on purpose. Don't you guys hate the class as much as I do? Jenny answered, well, yes, the class is boring. Most classes are. School is usually boring, but you have to do it because you have to. We're teenagers. Across the table, Maurice agreed. Barry's class sucks, and it is worse than most others, but not that much. Listen, guys, semester tests are coming in a couple of weeks. I don't want to take her crap anymore. And we have all of next semester to go through. Let's just try this. It's something we can do as measly little students. Jenny and Randy were the first to warm up to the plan, out of boredom, I think. But there's no way the whole class will go along, Jenny insisted. Take Jerry, for example. Can you see him ever failing a test? To hell with Jerry, I said. Let's see how many other kids we can convince before Friday's chapter test. I looked at my friends. What do you say? Are you in? 2 days later, about 25 of the 30 students in Miss Berry's American History 1 class purposefully, miserably failed the chapter test over the rise of American industry. On Friday morning, when Miss Berry returned the graded test, with either a smirk or a smile, I made a 27. And then, without a single word about the terrible grades, as if nothing was out of the ordinary, she put up a transparency that outlined the material to be covered on the upcoming semester exam. That week, we failed daily reading quizzes, the vocabulary check, as well as the regular weekly test, still with no response from Miss Berry. What was wrong with her? Didn't she give a damn that her students were failing? By the time semester exams came around, we had gotten quite successful at failing. None of us knew where we were going with all of this, but it was becoming fun, and in a weird way, a little powerful. We stopped worrying about our grades, about what parents would say when report cards came out, about having to work at McDonald's. None of it mattered, because when we walked into American history and sat in front of the transparency, anger rose up within us, anger that pushed aside our worries. Of the 20 or so students still sticking to the plan, nobody made higher than 30 on the semester exam, assuring us of failing grades for the term. On the day we got report cards, standing outside in the parking lot, we were shocked, dumbfounded into silence. We all made A's in American History 1. What the hell is going on? I asked. Is she insane? Second semester. Third period before lunch was American History 2. When the tardy bell rang, Miss Berry walked to the front of the room and, without saying a word, turned on the overhead projector as she adjusted her glasses. This semester, the overhead message began, we will be studying American history. She then pulled her desk around to the front of the classroom, sat down, smiled, and asked, "What do you think about last semester?" We all started talking and laughing at once because, of course, by this time, we had all figured it out, had discussed it. We had come to see Miss Berry's plan. Miss B, you set us up. 18 weeks of test, of torture. Why didn't you just tell us the lesson you wanted us to learn? We thought you were crazy. Maybe I am, Miss Berry laughed. What should we do now that we know? Now that we really know? Jenny earnestly asked. I don't know. What should you do? She answered. Maybe we should start failing everything in every class, a guy yelled from the back of the room. Ray, you do that already, someone said. When the laughter died down, Miss Berry said, let's talk about it. Then she looked at me, smiled, straightened her glasses, and asked, Billy, would you mind turning off the overhead? Thank you.